So here's a hot take. I don't believe you should just create a wholesale business, nor do I think you should just fix and flip, nor should you just buy rental properties. You should be able to do all of those things. More importantly, you should have a business that can find you all of those types of deals. I did a special training inside of my school community where I showed folks how to actually make this possible. We call this building a deal finding business. This business brings in wholesale deals so you got money today. It brings in fix and flip deals so you can make some money in a couple months, but it also brings in properties you can add to your portfolio that'll bring you money decades down the road. I know you're gonna love this training. Let's get right to it. I think a lot of people get caught in the I'm afraid to put myself into a box category, right? Where it's like, oh, I don't want to wholesale. I just want to fix and flip, or I don't want to fix and flip or wholesale. I just want to buy creative deals, or I just want to do rental properties, or, I'm just trying to get into multifamily. By you, I don't want to do this, or I want to do that, or I don't want to be known as this, and like whatever. I've always just thought that was kind of crazy, right? People tell me like, I'm not in wholesaling anymore. It's like, well, what? You don't ever wholesale a deal? I know a guy here locally who has over 300 rental properties, and guess what? He has a TV show, and he still fix and flips, and guess what? He still wholesales. So how do you build a business that can do all of these things at once? So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So let me share my screen. We got our flow chart. You guys know how we do it in here. So again, our topic is building a deal finding business. Ideally, we want to be able to take advantage of all of these things. Today, for day 13 of our 30 deals in 30 days, I got a house that's worth about, I think the ARV is in Scottsdale, it's worth about 2.2 million. They're asking significantly less than that. And like, would I want to fix and flip that one? That's not for me. But I also got a townhouse in Dallas 2 days ago, and they want 360,000. It's worth 500,000, and it doesn't need that much work. Do I want to do that one? Maybe, right? So we should have a business that's bringing in opportunities that we know how to make money if we want to wholesale. We also know how to make money if we want to do fix and flips. But at the same time, and in the same business, we want to make sure that, hey, we're picking up some properties along the way to mitigate your tax burden, to start building out your portfolio for long-term wealth, maybe in something you'd be happy you did in 10, 15 years. The reason why I feel like a lot of people get burnt out in this world, the people who are like, I don't want to fix and flip, I don't want to wholesale, I just want to build out my portfolio. But the quickest way to get burnt out in real estate, or the reason why it doesn't work well, is because that strategy is going to pay you in 10 years. That strategy is going to make you a little bit of money today, but it's going to make you a lot more money down the road. But most people can't give themselves a runway to ever get there. We want to be able to do all the things, right? We don't want to just have to wait for the future, right? We don't want to just have to buy a rental property and say, this is our model. We bought 2 rentals this year. We bought 4 rentals this year. I don't know about you guys, but $200, $300 a month is not going to retire me. Is not going to change my life. If I bought 4 properties that bought me $300 a month, that's $1,200 a month. I could probably do just about anything. I could drive Uber Eats and make $1,200 a month. I don't believe that is the strategy when it comes down to building out money today, money tomorrow, and then money down the road. We want to be able to do all of those things. So let's talk about this. There's a framework that I really like, and maybe you guys have heard Pace talk about this, and I like the thought of this, right? So anything in life, anything that I've ever wanted, and this is like the way we go about finding deals and finding business is how we find anything in our life, right? The reason why maybe you guys found our school group, or maybe you found today's training, typically we want to go through this framework, right? And this is our how to get anything you ever want out of life framework. It's 3 steps. It's number 1. And this is like, and it's basic, and you guys would be surprised. There's a saying that was like, they were riding on a horse, and the horse was just running away, and they said, hey, where are you going? And he goes, I don't know, right? It's like, hey, you're going nowhere fast, right? When you don't know where you're going, you're going to get nowhere fast. You'll wind up somewhere like, what the heck is going on here? Has anyone ever gone through periods of their life like that? Or maybe you've gone through months, or maybe weeks, or heck, maybe even years or decades, where you're like, man, oh my gosh, I woke up and I realized that this is not where I want to be. I've built this wonderful life of, this is not what I ever thought it was going to be. Like, what happened to my dreams? What happened to my goals? I'm getting nowhere fast. I'm spinning my wheels. Nothing's happening for me. It's because, number 1, you're not following this framework. You haven't even tackled the first step. The first part of getting anything you ever want in life, and this is going to go directly into how you find deals in your business and how you create this deal finding business. But it's number 1, knowing what you want. So what the heck do you want? What do we want to do? Like, what are we hoping to achieve? What are the things that we're trying to get out of our life, or the day to day? Like, what do we want? And like, look, the things you want can evolve, right? Goals can change. And along the way of you building your business and making money, or doing, along this journey of life, right? Is that saying we've talked about before? It's like, past these mountains, there's more mountains. The beauty of it all is just enjoying the journey for sure. But what do you want right now? Like, what is something that is worthwhile for you to be like, you know what? I'm going to pick up all the things that I got. I'm going to put this backpack on and we're going to go hitchhike. Like, we're going to go make this happen. I'm going to start taking some action. I'm going to head out on my hero's journey. I'm going to head out and start doing something. I'm going to head out and start making a change. What is something that is big enough to where you're like, you know what? I'm going to start my path. Some of us is like, I want to just have more money so I can not worry about the bills. Some of you guys are like, I want to make money because I want to spend more time with my kids. Some of you guys are, I want to have more money so I can travel. I want to have more money. I want to have more time. I want to have more money so I can have more time, whatever, right? I think everyone here should have more money. I think everyone should be striving to achieve more. Like, money is a tool to help you achieve the other things that you want. Maybe it is time freedom. Maybe it is we can get things and we don't have to stress about the price tag on things or like whatever, right? It's like, what do we want, right? Financial independence does all of that. Financial independence does all of that. So we know like, hey, we want to make money, but that's not clear enough, right? So, okay, within the area of us making money, what is it that we want to do? What is it that we can do? What are things that we can do right now that maybe others don't want to do? But what it all starts with knowing what you want. Knowing what you want is step one. Okay, step two. After you figured out exactly what you want, now this needs to be super duper clear. It needs to be crystal clear. This didn't come crystal clear for me until my wife told me she was pregnant with our first child, with my first born son. He'll be 5 in April, right? So I guess this was almost about 6 years ago when she first told me she was pregnant, right? And all of a sudden I realized what I want is a life for my kids where we don't have to worry about money. I can't live paycheck to paycheck. This is not possible. I don't want to live that life. I know exactly what I want, and I also know exactly what I don't want, okay? And it helped me be like, you know what? I'm going to get over my fears, and I'm going to get out there, and I'm going to start talking to people because I then moved into step number 2, right? Which is who has what you want, okay? So you need to knowing who has what you want. So who has what you want? The things that you want to achieve today, the things that you want, there's somebody out there who has it. You want money? You want to make money? There's somebody who has those things. There's somebody who has the money you want to make. There's somebody who is achieving the things that you want to achieve. And maybe you being here today, you're like, you know what? I see, that the people in this No Fluff group, they're doing deals. Okay, that's what I want. I know that they have the sauce, the secrets, or whatever you want to call it, for me to achieve the things that I want to achieve, right? So I know that they have what I want. And maybe that is like, maybe you feel like you're missing some information. Maybe you're like, I need to learn more things. Okay, well, they have the knowledge that I want. So I am going to go acquire them. I am going to go acquire the things that I want. So I know what I want. I know who has what I want. And then the step 3 in this process is knowing what they want and bringing it to them. So the worst thing you could do is know what you want and know who has what you want and then go ask them for it, right? It's like, no, if you know what they want and you bring it to them, they will naturally give you what you want. That's how it works, right? So it almost works in reverse. So if I know, number one, I know what I want, so therefore I know who has it. So then I go out and figure out what the heck they want. Okay, they want more money themselves. They want more freedom themselves. They want more deals. They want, like in our case, in our real estate business, we work with realtors. What do they want? They want to work with somebody who's actually a real human being that's not going to waste their time. It's not going to put properties under contract that can't perform. They want transparency. They want someone that they can rely on. Okay. Well, if that's the case, then if I can bring them resources and I could be valuable to them to help them evaluate their deals and say, look, I'm not going to be a good fit for that one, but I know someone who could be. Or, hey, you need someone to help you with X, Y, and Z. Or like, that's why I always offer to help. Like, do you need help with trashing out a property? Do you need help with the whatever, right? I try to provide value to people because they have what I want. Because if I understand what they want and I bring it to them, well, then naturally they'll give me more of what I want, which is more deals, which is more business. Specifically for my real estate business, it's not everything in my life. And you may have multiple things for this, you guys. Like in my personal life, I want this. In my marriage, I want this. If in my business, I want this. Therefore, I know who has what I want, and then I know what I need to do, like what you can do about it. The worst thing that I see a lot of new people getting started, they're what we call assholes, right? And they don't even mean to be. They just ask a bunch of questions, but they do nothing, right? So there's plenty of people, and to be honest with you guys, when I first started in real estate, I remember I made a post in a real estate group and I was like, hey, I'm looking for a mentor, someone who can help me, blah, blah, blah. And I put it in someone else's hands. And I look back on that post, I'm like, what was I thinking? Not that I was wrong about wanting to get a mentor. Like, I wasn't doing anything about it. I was just asking people questions and doing nothing. So I get that stuff all the time. Hey, Matt, like, what should I do with this? Or what do you think is the best list? Or what do you think is, it's like, have you not looked at anything? Have you not watched anything? Have you not taken the time yourself to maybe find the answers to these questions? They're not spending the time. Most people, to be honest with you guys, are lazy in this process, right? They know what they want. So they just go straight to who they think has it and just ask them for it, saying, hey, can I get what I want? Can you get me deals? Can you bring me deals? How can we do business together? It's almost like someone who is sick and you're like, hey, let me know whatever I can do for you. You're asking the person who's sick to let you know how you can help them. That's crazy. That's crazy. And that's lazy. So we don't want to do that, right? So this is the framework that you want to use to get anything you ever want in your life. Figure out what you want first. And then by nature of you doing that, there are already people doing the things and achieving the things and they have the things that you want. So then in turn, you're bartering, you're figuring out what the heck do they want and how can I bring that to them? That's the 1, 2, 3 step process. Does that make sense, everybody? Everybody following me here? We want to do what we can do. We want to take care of what we can take care of. We want to handle our part and we figure out what we want first. Now, how does this apply to your business? Why did I go off on this tangent talking about how do you get anything out of your life? Well, this is how your business works as well. So a deal finding business, the first thing you do is know what type of deals you want to do. Okay. So the problem is you can't be everything to everyone. I see this a lot of times because we teach a model where we're normally in multiple markets when we're doing our real estate business, right? We're normally in like Atlanta and Orlando and Dallas and Phoenix and all these places. Well, I can't be everything to everyone. Because if that's the case, then everything that's shiny looks like gold. Right? Everything shiny, I think so. Oh, I'm going to make money on this. Oh, I got a vacant land parcel here. I got a mobile home park here. I got this multifamily deal here. Well, guys, the markets change. Every single one of those. I know the cap rate that I got to buy my multifamily or commercial deals in Orlando is a lot different than what it looks like in Union City, Georgia, or in McDonough, Georgia, or outside of Dallas, Fort Worth, or how the markets change when we get into Fort Worth, or then what it looks like when it's here in Phoenix. It's not one blanketed thing. So the quickest thing you could do to not be successful, like if you for sure want to make sure you're unsuccessful with real estate, is you try to do all of the things at once. Okay. We just talked about saying, hey, you don't want to just do wholesale, don't want to just fix and flip, but we can't do all the things at once in every single place that we're in. So we want to know exactly the types of deals we want to do. So if we say, right, step 1, we say, you know what? We would like to do wholesale deals. Okay. All right. We would like to do those. All right. And then we would also like to do fix and flips. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. It's up to you on this one. There's no forced hand. This is your guys' business. Okay. Look, there's pros and cons to all of this. Fix and flip seems like a great idea. I mean, you just want to make sure you have the resources, but I'll kind of show you guys my framework of getting into fix and flips. So wholesale deals, fix and flips, and maybe you want to do like small multi-family. Okay. So the great part about the way that we do our business, guys, is like if I was going direct to seller, I would have to go pull a list for my wholesale deals. I would pull a list and try to find my fix and flips by maybe like reaching out to wholesalers and stuff. And then I would have a list for multifamily, right? But with the way that we do business with agents, we're just asking them for deals. We're saying, hey, do you have anything coming up that we can take a look at? Yes or no, maybe, whatever. But if I know the types of deals that I want to do, okay, maybe like getting started, I think, you know what? With wholesale deals and fix and flips and small multifamily, I think a lot of you guys are like, we want to be able to acquire these on, cash or creative type of deals. So okay, we understand that. Then we go into step 2 of the process. Okay. Step 2 of the process between wholesale deals, fix and flips, and small multifamily is understanding like what a deal really looks like, right? So this is the reason why going and being in too many markets at once is also a very quick way to make sure that you're not going to be successful in real estate. Not just doing all the things, but being too many places at once. So getting started, wholesale is great because you can do this You can only do between 1 to 5 plus markets with the same business model, right? So you could do it locally and you could also do it in 5 other places. 10 other, like whatever. Like you could be in as many markets really as you want rather quickly. So that's like a benefit of that. But fix and flips, that's very tough to do. You typically can't do fix and flips in more than one market getting started, or you probably shouldn't, or maybe you don't want to, because it's one of the quickest ways you could lose money too, right? So typically you're in one market. And then same thing with multifamily acquisition. It's the buy box and the cap rate changes depending on what market you're in. So typically you're going to want to be between 1 to 3 markets at once. I would probably say no more than 1 to 3 markets at once. So like we look at this and we're like, okay, well, if my wholesale business can be in all these markets, and if my fix and flip business can be in one market, and if my small multifamily can be in one market, well, this kind of changes the way we have our conversations, right? This changes the way that we work with our real estate agents, because our real estate agents, again, they are our deal finders. So if we have a deal finding business, then the reality is we just have to get good at teaching and coaching up our realtors on specifically what we're looking for. So if going back to this, if we don't know what we want and we don't know what types of deals we want to do, then we have agents bringing us all types of deals. And then we're looking at all these things. Guys, it's hard enough to do real estate. This business is not easy. And it's hard enough to evaluate deals. Now imagine being flooded with opportunities, flooded with leads that just waste your time, because we have a limited amount of time, guys. You're like, hey, if I got an hour a day, how many of you guys have somewhere between 2 to 3 hours a day to work on your real estate business? Somewhere around there. Some of you guys may have more, some of you guys may have less. But if we don't get good at figuring out how to spend that time, then we will be spinning our wheels forever. Our deals will be very inconsistent. We won't be making the money we want to make. We have to be very diligent on how we spend our time. So the way that we make sure that we're spending our time on the right thing is we know exactly the kind of deals we want to do. So that way we know exactly what to tell our realtors what we're looking for. If that is the case, then we have to get good at telling the people what exactly we want. So for many of you guys, you ask me, what's our buy box, Matt? What are we looking for? Who here is very clear on what you want and what you don't want? Like, who here knows what a great multifamily deal looks like? Who here knows what a great like if you saw it, you're like, yep, pencil it in. That's like getting a property 50 cent ARV. It's 50 cent on the dollar. Like you see a property worth $250,000 and they're asking $100,000, you can almost say, boom, let's get the contract right now, because it's a no-brainer, right? But if you don't know what a no-brainer deal looks like for a small multifamily deal or a creative finance deal, then it's going to be very tough for you to tell your agents what to look for. It's almost like someone pulls you over and maybe you're walking down the street or something and someone stops and says, hey, can you tell me where the closest gas station is? And you're like new to the area and you have no idea where the closest gas station is. And you're like, maybe if you take a right at the light and then maybe drive like a mile and then like look around and maybe take a left. Like you can't give them directions because you don't know where the heck the gas station is. So, and it sounds so basic, guys. And maybe when you look at that, you're like, holy shit, this is how I've been running my business. Like I don't know what a good deal actually looks like. So I don't know what to really tell these people that I'm looking for. And I don't even know when I see a deal if it's a good deal or not. So the problem in real estate, and then this in general, is like we think that every address gets brought our way in the beginning, right? It's like this whole journey of getting started in real estate. Everything looks great. You get addresses, everything may be a deal. And then you realize that, oh my gosh, only 1 in every 50 properties is actually a deal. So you get used to seeing bad deal, bad deal, bad deal, bad deal 49 times out of 50. And you're like, oh my gosh, this stinks. Like this is hard. This is harder than I thought it was going to be. And then you finally get the deal and you're like, oh, this is how you make $10,000. This is how you make $15,000. This is how you make $20,000. Amazing. Okay, now I can see a light at the end of the tunnel. I see that all these other properties and these no's led me to this. And if I could just do this more, this is how this is going to work, right? So in order to help you guys get stuff done faster, if you've been trying to break into real estate for longer than a month, okay, if this has been longer than a month for you and deals are still inconsistent and, we're not where we want to be yet, it's because we don't know exactly what we want to do. So wholesale deals in general, right? We're normally between 1 to 3 markets. Like I prefer 1 to 3 markets when it comes to wholesale because I can get really good at building my buy box specifically around what I know will actually sell. So when we talk about building a deal finding business, typically we have to understand what the deal is. And the way we figure out what a deal is we know what people want. So this goes into this over here, right? What do the people want? So if we want to make money in real estate, we're up here. So then we figure out Who has what we want? Oh, these people have cash. They want to buy fix and flips. These people, these are end buyers. They're looking to move their family into the home. Oh, these people are looking to build our portfolio. We care about cap rate. If I know I want to make money and I know the type of people that I'm trying to source these deals to, we talk about a deal finding business. You are a deal finder. Think about it at the restaurant. Someone says they want a cheeseburger, you give them a cheeseburger. Someone says they want a sandwich, you give them a sandwich. If we know what these people want in the middle, so we go find it and we bring it to them, then naturally we get the money that we want. So wholesaling, fix and flipping, small multifamily, whatever. If you like this video, then you are going to love our school community. School.com/no fluff real estate. You're going to find the recordings from our live trainings. You're going to have opportunities to join in on the live trainings themselves, and literally everything you can imagine to get support on, from negotiations, underwriting, all the different topics that we don't even post on the YouTube channel are inside of the school community. But the best part is the community. Be surrounded by other investors that are doing exactly what you're doing, learning this information, but more importantly, taking massive action on it. Let's get back to the training. Really starts upside down. It's the thought process of reverse wholesaling. It's not even reverse wholesaling. It's just how it works, right? We figure out exactly what the people want in our markets that we're in. So it makes sense for you to do some research in your markets, right? So I know in Phoenix, I have a lot more wiggle room in Phoenix because deals move very quickly here because there's still a lot of people moving here regardless of the interest rates. And I know the higher price point, people who are buying a $700,000 house are not as affected than the people who couldn't afford to buy a $300,000 house by a 6% interest rate. If they were going to buy a $700,000 house, they're going to buy that $700,000 house and refinance in 3-4 years when interest rates drop. This market is way different than Dallas. So I know Phoenix, I like to be 550 ARV or less, right? And I can normally move deals somewhere around 70% of ARV. Okay. I know I can sell my deals somewhere around there. I know this because I have taken the time and I've talked to buyers. I've taken the time and I figured out what the heck they want. So what I recommend you guys do, if we're going to build a deal finding business, we figure out, number one, what markets that we want to be in. Okay. So write this down right now. What markets do we want to be in? Okay. Because I'm assuming if you guys are here, you want to do these deals. Maybe you don't want to fix and flip. You can X that off, or maybe you do, or maybe you don't want to do multifamily. You can X that off and you do. But most of you guys, bare minimum, want to do wholesale deals. I'm going to put buy and hold here because it doesn't matter. You guys can see, like, on this flow chart, it could be fix and flip, it could be buy and hold, doesn't matter. Like, we could just keep expanding this thing out, making it wider and wider and wider and wider. But the reality is, like, we build these are verticals, right? So maybe instead of going wider with your business, we go deeper into our verticals until, like, we're like, okay, this is as good as it's going to be. This is as good as I want it to be. And I can add more verticals in. But if we want to create a deal finding business that can do all of these things, again, we're thinking about what exactly we're looking for. So like in Dallas, I talked about the reason why I wrote this in at Dallas, 400K ARV or less, and my buyers are buying at about 60% ARV or less. The reason why I know this is because I actually know the end buyers. So if you have a tough time and you don't know end buyers in your market, that's okay. That's when you leverage relationships. And I'll talk about that here in just a little bit. But if you want to find wholesale deals, I see people who are like, oh, I'm doing AZ, I'm doing Texas, I'm doing Florida, I'm doing Atlanta, I'm doing all that. I'm like, how many deals you do in a month? Oh, look, I haven't done any deals yet. Or like, I'm doing all these markets. How many deals you do a month? I'm doing like a deal or two a month. I'm like, okay. Well, if there's 5,000 listings in Phoenix and I'm doing one deal a month and I'm in 7 other markets, like what portion of the market do I actually have that are homes that are being sold in my market? If I'm only doing one a month, and that's not even I'm not even specifically just saying in one of your markets. So again, one of the biggest problems people have is you try to expand too fast. You're in all these different places because you see someone flash a check that they did a deal in Jacksonville, and you see them flash a check they did a deal in Orlando, and you're like, what market do I need to be in? Just pick one. It doesn't matter, but pick one that you plan on going deep in. You're like, hey, like I'm local here, or I hear good things about this market. Like you're never just like handicapped, like you can never leave this market. No. Pick one that's very good and you can build it out. Like I'm giving you guys some answers here. Like Phoenix is amazing. Dallas is amazing. Orlando is great. Jacksonville's great. Atlanta's great. Charlotte's great. Like, I mean, there's a lot of really, 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 really good markets. Like in my opinion, like I can now do it in many of these different places because I have people nationwide, but I was not like that in the beginning. My business did not look like that in the beginning. I only had a few relationships here locally. Right. So if I work this whole thing backwards, guys, how I got started when my wife told me she was pregnant and how I got a deal so fast was like, okay, I know I need to go make money. Okay, who can help me do this? Okay, there's guy here, Pace locally, and my good friend Cody. They're already doing business. Okay, well, what do they want? Oh, they want more deals. Okay, well, let me figure out what a good deal looks like. And let me go see if I can find some and bring it to them. Well, that's what I did. I went and door knocked. I found deals. I found opportunities. I found out exactly what they were looking for, right? They wanted this. Okay, cool. All right. And I didn't ask them for anything else. I went and made mistakes. I went and knocked on the doors and tried to negotiate contracts. Had no idea what I was doing. They had no idea what I was doing out there. But I went and lucked up and I got my first contract and I bought it to them and I made $12,000. And they're like, oh my gosh, Matt, you're actually doing this. This is great. And then they wanted to work more closely with me. And then like, as I brought them more deals, at about 40 deals, they're like, you know what? We should just partner up. And I'm like, that sounds great. So that, again, using this framework is the same way. I knew exactly what I wanted because I understood what they wanted. So in these markets that we're in to do wholesale deals, we need to understand what the buyers are looking for and stay very specific. Because look, just giving it a shot. And if you guys are like, well, Matt, like I got this deal at $400,000 or I got a deal at $300,000 and I look at the numbers. And if I don't have a specific buyer in that market and you guys ask, is this a deal? The real answer is, I don't know. I don't know if it's a deal or not, right? I don't know if it's a deal until we get real feedback from an end buyer. But if I know my buyers, like I know in Dallas right now, if I get a property at $280,000, it's going to sell. If it's worth $400,000, that's 60% ARV. I'm going to, boom, it's done. I know it's going to happen. Well, I mean, minus repairs and stuff, right? So it's really closer to what, to $240,000. But if I follow that framework, I'm going to sell my deals because I already have the end buyers for it. Kevin says, so why Dallas is 10% lower price point in the market? Because Dallas median price point is lower than Phoenix, right? So if you guys want to figure out your market and figure out where you should be at in your price point, really this is going to come from your end buyers. We talked about calling Zillow fix and flips and figuring out, hey, are these guys still buying? Okay, what are you looking for? Or using tools like Investor Base, which I used on the last masterclass. But like if I go to ZHVI Dallas, Texas, right? So ZHVI is what it's called, right? Zillow Home Value Index. All this really is just telling you what the median price point is for literally all of Dallas, right? And this says $303,000. So I'm normally going to be about $100K over whatever this says. Because it's really not fair because this doesn't include Arlington, Irving, doesn't go out here to Fort Worth, doesn't include, some of these greater markets like Garland and Plano. It's just Dallas in general. It gives me a rough idea of what's going on in Dallas. Because if I go back and I say, hey, ZHVI for Garland, Texas, it's probably going to be higher than what you just saw for Dallas. Let's see. Okay, right there, pretty similar. So you see what I'm saying? Like it gives you a rough idea. Because like if they say the median, like the average house sells for $300,000, well then a fix and flip house, something that's been recently renovated, and it's not just your run of the mill kind of house that you people list on the market and sell that's dated. Well then it's probably going to sell for more than that. So that tells you like my fix and flippers are probably flipping houses that the ARV is like between $350,000 to $400,000. If I do the same thing in Phoenix, you're going to see a ZHVI of in the 400s probably. Let's see, ZHVI. Phoenix, Arizona, right? Phoenix, AZ. Okay, we'll go here. There you go, 411,000. Okay, so if I was from the outside looking in, I'd be like, okay, well, I could probably do up to 500,000 in Phoenix. But I also know, look what's going to happen when I type in Gilbert, Arizona. I do ZHVI for Gilbert. This is technically still Phoenix Valley. This is a suburb of Phoenix. I live out here. Okay, Gilbert, Arizona, median price point is 571,000, right? So almost 50% more than what the Phoenix price point is. So if I'm doing deals across Phoenix, do you think I'm going to be doing a lot of fix and flips in Gilbert, Arizona? Probably not, because it costs 50% more to live out here than it does in other areas here in Phoenix. So if I'm looking to provide housing, right, and I think about what my fix and flippers are looking for, right? So if I'm wholesaling, again, I'm thinking, what do the people want? The people that want to bring them deals, what do they want? Okay, they probably want to go fix up a house that doesn't need a ton of work, right? But whatever. If it makes money, it makes money. But they probably, when they want to go sell a house, they probably don't want to have to sell it to this little niche market of people who's buying at extremely high price points. They probably want to provide something pretty affordable so a lot of people can go afford it, right? They tap into the bigger market of buyers. So that's where I want to be. I want to go find deals for my fix and flippers that are in the median price point. So when they flip it, because they're looking to sell to the biggest portion of any given market. So back to our flow chart, when we do our wholesale deals, what exactly are we looking for? That's what that is. Now, buy and hold, fix and flip, whatever. I asked you guys, like, what would you want to look at? Like, what kind of deals you want to do? And you guys said, hey, I would like to wholesale and I would like to buy and hold. And it makes a ton of sense because you're going to need to for taxes, right? And to build that long-term wealth. Wholesale deals is today money, okay? Wholesale is also a hustle business, okay? You put into work, you hustle your butt off, you can create a system, you can bring in money month in and month out. Like right now, during the challenge, obviously I'm working a lot more hours in my business, but when outside of like these challenges I do for the students and stuff, I work on my business about 2 hours a week, maybe three, if you add in like a meeting or two. But it brings in, 70, 80, sometimes $100,000 a month without me having to be there that often, which is like the perfect balance for me. It allows me to spend more time coaching. It allows me to spend more time inside of the community and doing other things, right? So that was the kind of business that I wanted to build. So I created a business to do that. So, but wholesale is very much a, hey, we got to bust our butt to get it going. It's going to be hustle. We're going to be looking for the next deal. It's a big time, like a big focus on, sales and acquisition. So you do that until you can find someone to help you, right? So if that's truly what you want, don't bash it. Just understand that's what's going to come with it, right? Some of you guys are like, I'm not a salesperson. I don't want to do that. It's okay. Well, how fast are you trying to get to your goals? And sometimes you got to do what's necessary. If you're starting a business from scratch and you're starting like, I don't know, a restaurant. Well, guess what? Who makes the menu? You do. Who opens up and warms up the grills? You do. Who runs the payroll? You do. Who pays the light bills and all the other bills? You do. You do everything, but you understand that it's not going to be like that forever. But you do it because that is what it takes to get it off the ground. So your wholesale business is one of those things that you put in a lot of work at the beginning, but understand that's not how it's always going to be. It is probably one of the easier businesses that I know that you can systemize. And it's one of the easier businesses that I know that you can get help and get someone in there that after you have figured it out and after you do it, and that's like one of the biggest hacks, the reason why you guys are on these trainings and see me close deals and stuff. Anyone can do this, so it can be trained. This is not something that is like only a certain amount of people can do this. Anyone can do this. So wholesale is such a great foundation because it gets you to where you're trying to go faster. So if you're like, hey, an extra $10,000 a month would change my life. An extra $20,000 a month would change my life. Hey, if I got to this point where my business brought in $30,000, $40,000 net to me, that would change everything, right? And that would actually make doing buy and hold properties pretty relevant. Well, then it makes sense to have this set up the right way, understanding exactly what the people want in the markets that we're in. Okay. So now when we get into our buy and holds, when we start buying properties and we go deeper into this vertical, okay, we want to figure out what the heck kind of market we want to be in. Maybe you are in 1 to 2 markets, 2 markets max, because typically you get 1 or 2 things. Okay. Typically you get 1 or 2 things. You either get appreciation, okay, or you get cash flow. Typically the markets is going to get you to cash flow. And the creative deals work really well in. They actually perform. Like my favorite market for cash flow are the Midwest markets. I love my properties in Memphis. I love Kansas City. I love Indianapolis. These people pay their rent on time. From what I've experienced, it's these smaller houses. They do awesome. When I get into my bigger houses I have in my portfolio, they suck. These people hardly pay on time because they're stretching their means to be there. These are, the payments are $2,400 a month, $2,500 a month. It's that middle class. And this is just me speaking very honestly with you guys. Like if I could just buy more rental property, something that I have learned is if I am just in it for cash flow, I'm doing it in the Midwest and I'm doing it with these smaller houses, period. Now, the other side of the token, like if I'm buying my buy and holds and I want to get appreciation, then I want to be in markets where there's also a lot of fix and flip activity. I'm not really going to get cash flow. I'm not going to get it's not going to be as good. Like my little $100,000 house in Memphis brings in $650 a month. My $400,000 house in Texas brings me in $100 a month. But I know that property in Texas is different. I'm at least breaking even. I know I'm going to get more appreciation on that house than I ever will see on that Memphis house. And that's okay, right? So you got to decide like which kind of place you want to be in or which kind of place would you want to pick up buy and holds. Because if you're brand new and you're like, hey, I want to build a deal finding business where I can find some buy and holds. Well, the best thing you could do is pick one market, and find a partner, someone who's going to fund it, someone who's going to help you manage it. Because in the beginning, you pay ignorance tax, right? You don't know how to manage the properties, or maybe you're like, I haven't had more than 1 rental property ever, or 2 rental properties ever. Like, I don't really know, like, what is it going to look like to scale this portfolio? How do I actually get more buy and holds? Well, you get you someone local who can help you be a partner on these deals, okay? And so they know exactly what you should be looking for. Guys, again, going back to this framework of knowing what the other people want. So if I'm like, you know what? I want more rental property. Okay, well, I know how to go find my rental properties. They're going to come from my business that's bringing in wholesale deals. But before I tell my agents exactly what I'm looking for, let me get a partner. Hey, let me find someone local who's already buying some rental properties or already doing the things that I want to do and say, hey, if I bring some deals to the table, would you want to partner up on some of these? I would love to build out my portfolio and I want to find someone that I can own some properties with. You can find these people at meetups. You can find these people inside of mentorship. partnerships, you can find these people inside of groups. That's one of my favorite parts about having a group in general is that I have some really awesome people that are starting to partner up, like Eugene and Ryan Madigan. It's fun to see people starting to get together and say, hey, we can accomplish our investing goals together. And maybe it doesn't have to be like that forever, but as you kind of get your first couple deals, you guys, I forego a bunch of money in the beginning on my fix and flips just so I can learn. I got like 20% of some fix and flips in the beginning just so I can learn from the guys who were doing it exactly what they were doing. And then after like 3 of them, I'm like, okay, I got it now. Maybe you don't build $1 million portfolio with another partner, but maybe you do. Maybe you love it and say, hey, this works out great. But maybe you use that as like a strategic partnership to get going. But it also helps you know exactly what to look for. You learn from someone who's seasoned, right? Because typically you know the pioneers. There's a saying from Russell Brunson. He goes, you always know the pioneers. They're the ones who are laying face down with the arrows in their back. They've already gone out. They've already made the mistakes. They've already paid the costly prices, guys. And that's what a lot of people use me for. Like I went out and I bought a lot of bad deals. I bought a lot of bad creative deals. I lost over $400,000 on bad deals, but I also learned exactly what not to buy. I have a lot of great properties in my portfolio now. I have a lot of properties that perform and I still have the headaches, but I know exactly what to buy and also what not to buy. So when I tell people, hey, don't buy this kind of creative deal or this needs to be your entry fee. Well, I know that because I've went and done it. So you go find someone that you could partner with that you can own properties with like that, right? What do you bring to the table? Do you bring the deal to the table? Do you bring the funding to the table? Or do you bring the management to the table? Or do you bring multiple of those 3 things? We want to pick a market first and foremost. And then from there, we pick, okay, well, are we in it for some appreciation or are we in it for cash flow? Look, in the appreciated markets, like what a lot of people do in these markets, they do co-living, they do pad splits, they do Airbnb. But this is also one of those things where it's like, as investors, I feel like it's one of those things we keep learning the same lesson over and over and over and over again. What happened to Airbnb with COVID? Right? Airbnb on single family homes just almost doesn't exist anymore as like it used to, right? People break even with Airbnbs. If you had an Airbnb in a regular single family neighborhood, you are struggling. You probably deal with 50% occupancy. Unless you have a niche property that has great entertainment, you set your house up specifically for Airbnb, well, then you're going to be struggling. So like, it's the same thing. I feel like with co-living, you kind of make the house, there's what we call functional obsolescence, right? So you have to add in more bedrooms. Like you turn a living room into a bedroom or 2 bedrooms and you add an extra bathroom. If you ever had to long-term rent this property, that would affect it. If you ever had to sell this property, you're gonna have to knock down some walls. You need a living room. You can't to bring a family in and be like, okay, so we have 2 extra bedrooms in here. People get a little creative when it comes to the appreciated markets. So that way they can make money while the property also appreciates in value. But regardless, guys, you want to pick one of the 2 if we are going in that. And then from there, you find a partner who has already done what you want. So again, I recommend putting out feelers before you ever start doing these types of deals. You already find a partner who already has done what you want to do, and you say, great, I'm gonna bring you some properties. I already have a business bringing in wholesale deals. Awesome. This is how we're gonna make this happen. So typically in our deal finding business, we build out one vertical and then we move to the next one. So now we've built out our buy and hold. We got a partner that we partner up on deals. We know what kind of market that we're looking to do these in. We have exactly our kind of buy box. So it helps me. Like I don't even fool with these types of deals until I have some deals coming in on my wholesale side. You may miss out on some opportunities in the beginning. You may miss out on some great buy and holds, but by keeping your focus super narrow, you actually, guys, I wish I had the statistic. I don't have it, but I wonder how many people are actually successful with wholesaling real estate. Like actually successful. I wonder how many people are actually successful with this. And the reason why a lot of people are just never become successful with it is a few reasons, right? You run out of runway, you run out of money, so you got to go get a job or whatever, and you come back to real estate years later. But for the most part, the reason why it didn't work in the first place is because you spread yourself too thin, okay? You keep your focus very narrow and you say, look, we should not be just wholesaling long-term. That is not a good business practice. We are going to build a deal finding business that's going to bring us all these opportunities. But we build out this first vertical, right? By knowing exactly what the people want. Okay. So this is our end buyer. I'll put here buy box. Think of your business as a order filler. So the wholesale business, you build this vertical out first. And soon as you're like, hey, we're good, we're finding deals, I'm actually making money in this business, I'm making $10,000, $20,000 a month, great. Well, it makes sense because I'm also throwing away some opportunities now that I can now add in this next vertical, which is my buy and holds or whatever. So, okay, well, great. What of my markets? And again, you want to begin with the end in mind. So which of my markets that I'm already wholesaling in would I like to buy and hold? So you want to wholesale in a market that you also plan to do your buy and holds, because like, it would be very difficult. Because along the way of you teaching your agents exactly what you're looking for, they're going to bring you wholesale deals. not just your buy and holds, right? So we want to pick the market. And in my opinion, guys, when I put buy and hold, these are creative purchases. Okay. I'm not putting buy and hold here as if you guys are using the burst strategy. You definitely can if you plan on using banks and stuff. But in my mind, it's only creative finance. So we're finding wholesale deals, but we're also finding creative finance deals. So we understand how to put those together. So first and foremost, we stay very focused. We say we're only going to do cash deals. Boom, perfect. Cash deals, the only thing we're focused on. Okay. Well, what kind of cash deals move in my market? Okay. Well, these types of cash deals move in my market. I have an in buy or buy box. Maybe you have a couple relationships. Maybe it's a meetup or maybe it's at a group. Like I guarantee if you guys go into the school group and you say, hey, I'm looking to do deals in this market. What are deals typically moving for? Who has buyers in this market? You're gonna find some people who are like, hey, yeah, this is what's moving over here, right? This is what's actually moving. Amazing. Cool. Well, take that. You go find those deals. Simple. We stay focused. That's how we actually make a breakthrough. Amazing. Okay. We start doing deals. And this is like the first problem I solve for like my students and stuff. It's like, all right, let's take all this crap out of the way. Okay. All these are shining objects. They're all great. They all work. They will all make you money. But let's all focus here. Okay. This is where we're going to focus. All right. From here, I will get you doing deals. I could take anyone and get them doing deals. I swear it's not that difficult and it's very simple. But once we get to that point and we're consistently getting deals, we're consistently closing deals, well, then we can worry about the next step because owning properties is expensive. Okay. Buying properties is expensive. We shouldn't be focused there at all unless we're in a position to actually start doing something with it. And I'm not saying you got to use your money you make over here to do that, but like it is like what happens if AC breaks? Okay. What happens if you got a roof leak and the tenant's going crazy or whatever, right? What are you going to do? It costs money. So you need to be making sure you're taking care of yourself here before building out this vertical. Now, under the buy and hold bucket, we are good. We're in our market. We have a partner that, they understand. They're telling me if this is a good deal or not, at least for the first handful of deals. And then from there, like again, they kind of help, fill in the gap on the things that you don't want to do or can't do, or maybe the things that you don't know. You want to find someone who is your opposite. Okay. You want to find someone who's already doing the things you want to do and they know more than what you know. They see the blind spots. They know the hurdles that you haven't encountered yet. And again, most of those people will want most of the deal. So even if you have to structure a deal where that partner gets 75% of the cash flow or that partner gets almost all of the cash flow and you're like, look, I don't even care about the cash flow. I just want to learn. You do that for the first couple handful until you learn it. And then maybe after you do a couple, again, it's almost like negotiating, saying, hey, I'm going to bring you a lot of business. Like going to a store. Oh gosh, I don't even know. Go into a retail store or something and be like, hey, or let's just say you go to a car dealership. You're like, look, I want to get a better price on this car, but I promise you, I'm going to bring you my entire family and all my friends are all going to come buy a car next week. 30, 40, 50 people going to come buy a car next week. Can you give me a discount today? They're like, I don't know you. I don't know who you are. Like we have like a referral bonus, but like, I can't just like take $10,000 off this car because you promised me you're going to bring me business. And that's like so much that happens all the time in real estate where someone's like, look, I'm going to bring you a lot of deals. Let's JV, let's blah, blah, blah. I'm like, this makes more sense for you than it does for me, right? Because I know how this goes. Like you make all the promises in the world, but you actually going to do it? Who knows, right? So what you do is you show people by actually doing it. Don't even ask for much. Leave money on the table. Say, hey, I'm going to bring you this deal. And they're like, oh my gosh, you actually went out and found a cash flowing property on seller finance or on subject to. And this one makes a ton of sense. It's low entry. 100% I want to buy this one. And yes, I'll keep you on as a partner. Like I can't promise you any cash flow, but I'll show you how I manage the property. Amazing. That's the only thing I ever want. That's the only thing I want to see. You can actually keep all of the depreciation too. I just want to see how this process works. And like, great. And you do that for a couple deals. And after like 2 deals, like, okay, this person is who they say they are. They're actually bringing deals. They're actually bringing opportunities. They're actually doing this. Okay, great. Well, maybe I'll open it up a little bit. Maybe we'll start splitting some cash flow 50-50. Because at that point, they're like, look, I don't want the deal flow they're in because look, I know exactly what they want. They want more properties. They want more cash flowing assets. I've already showed them. They already told me what they want. I keep bringing it to them. And they don't want that to stop because it's hard enough to find them. And if I'm doing it, then they probably were like, you know what? Okay, well, instead of you, again, this is how I made my partnership with Pace, you guys. I was like, all right, guys, it was great. I door knocked, my first whatever amount of doors. It was a lot. I brought them like their first 40 some odd properties. I actually bought my personal house sub 2 before Pace bought a sub 2. It was crazy because I heard him talk about it. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go do it. But like I brought him a lot of deals and then I was like, all right, hey, this is amazing. I brought you guys a lot of deals and I could not replace this for the world. I have learned so much but I can't keep giving up 50% of every single deal. I'm going to go build my own business. I'll still sell you guys some deals as they come through. And then we can revisit this, down the road. And, I'll keep bringing you some opportunities. And initially they're like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Go do your thing. I remember I ran off and I did, I had a business partner and we were doing it together. We had a month, we did like $200,000 in a month. We did like $300,000 in a month. And I was showing them like, oh, dude, this is what's going on. Like, I still love you guys. Still sending you some opportunities. And like, whoa, wait a second. Well, we should just partner now because you are who you say you are, right? You have shown it. You have done it. You keep showing up. It's almost impossible to miss. That's what you have to be. That's what you have to do. You have to be impossible to overlook. So in the beginning, you may have to give up some of your deals. You may have to give up some equity to build up that kind of relationship with people who are like that. For them in the beginning, you may be one of 10 other people who saying they want to bring them deals. You have to stand out, and you stand out by freaking just doing it. Not by what you say, not by having some interesting strategy of how you go about doing it, just doing it. That's it. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. Okay. So building out your buy and hold portfolio, if you're starting from scratch, that is one of the best ways. Go find someone who's already been a pioneer. They already got the arrows in their back. They've already made the mistakes. They'll tell you exactly what you need to do. Okay. And exactly what you need to find. And then boom, you do it, you partner up, and all of a sudden you got a buy and hold leg, you guys. You got a business, you got a side of your business actually bringing your properties in your portfolio, and someone has already paid the ignorance tax for not knowing what they're doing, and it wasn't you. You've learned from other people's mistakes. Will there still be mistakes? Absolutely. Will things work out exactly like you think it will? No, it won't. But that's okay. You got your buy and hold leg figured out. Okay. Someone has already made those mistakes, and it's going to save you a lot of time. It's going to save you a lot of money. We don't have infinite, especially if you guys this is never too late. I started doing this when I was 28. I'm 33 now. Okay. Everything can change for you. It doesn't matter if you're 70 years old. You could change it up right now. And by the time you're 75, you can have a lot of, it's crazy. It's absolutely insane. So and what I'm talking about, guys, this is just how I went about doing it. And this is what I found that worked really well. And it still works really well in anything that I do. I always figure out, what do the people want? What do they want? I say, what do I want? And then what do they want? And how can I go bring it to them? How can I give them what they want? Okay. And if I do that, I've done it in every area of my business. It's always seemed to work out pretty well. It's how I've gotten where I've gotten up to this point. I'll let you guys know if I find anything else. Okay. But we built out our wholesale business. We built out our buy and hold side of our business that we're bringing in rental properties because we have awesome people in our network. We got really good at finding deals. Great. Well, then multifamily is typically where people are like, you know what? I want to get into the bigger stuff. And this is what I actually recommend, you guys. It's not that different from anything else that we do. The same principles. You buy a deal, right? So this is all purchase based on ROI and cap rate. So cap rate is, probably one of the biggest ways you underwrite these deals. But the same formulas, the same things that I use to go buy my wholesale deals or my fix and flips. And I'm like, oh, it's 550 ARV. Buyers are typically paying 70% of that. There are buy boxes for small multifamily or bigger multifamily. And it doesn't have to, the price point, the purchase price just changes a little bit, right? I personally prefer the nicer properties, not the C or D class properties that have heavy cash flow. I prefer to get the ones that are a little bit nicer properties that don't have crazy high cap rates, but they are great for long-term investments. And I'm not worried about having to go collect the rent, right? Again, we want to create a life that we enjoy, and we don't feel like we made some decisions just based on the money. I made plenty of decisions based on money, being like, oh, this makes sense. And, and then I'm like, there have been properties, you guys, over the years that have kept me up at night. There have been properties that I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to get out of this. Like the mortgage is too high. They're not paying the rent. I had a tenant in one of my properties in Texas who literally had a prostitution ring going out of one of my houses. I had to get the sheriff out there multiple times to finally get him evicted. And it was like a forceful eviction. It was not good. And I had the house currently I had to change the locks, and he tried to break back in a couple. It was crazy. But no one tells you this kind of stuff when you get into it. So you want to build your business and your portfolio on things that make you money and don't keep you up at night. And sometimes you say no to money because it's going to keep you up at night. And I just learned that from my own experience. Okay. So when it comes to breaking into small multifamily, the reason why I say this is kind of the third thing is because you already kind of got your feet wet here in property management, right? With some single family properties. Now, you can technically skip this step if you want to, right? Maybe you're like, you know what? I understand the single family game, but I want to skip it and I just want to go straight to the small multifamily. Well, again, the way that this works and the way that is worked for me is like I built a track record up. And the thing is like you can't fake the track record. So it has just opened up more opportunities because like people like value my time. They value like, okay, Matt's gonna do what he says he's gonna do. Hang on one second. Hang on, guys, 1 second. Okay. So sorry guys, I got a dog and I'm working out in the garage today and we got family members over and he sees them out there playing and he's like, what is going on? You guys are forgetting about me. But nonetheless, like you build this out one little piece at a time, one little step at a time. And you end up building a track record of like, oh, he's buying properties, he's selling properties, he is who he says he is. Amazing. Like, this is one of those things where I would love to do more deals with them. Okay. So when I got into small multifamily, doing anything over 4 units, like 4 doors, like 10, 12, even like some into like hotels and, mobile home parks, I had a better understanding of exactly what I wanted to do. Because guys, guess what? What do you think you do when you're trying to get into small multifamily or multifamily in general? Based on what we've already talked about, if I was trying to get into this, what would I do? Put in the chat. What would you do now that you understand kind of how this framework works? If I'm trying to break into small multifamily or multifamily in general or get into the bigger stuff, whatever, what would be the first thing that you would do after hearing what I've talked about? And this is the reason why. Ask your buyers, says Kevin. Love it. Find someone who's doing it, says Josh. Exactly. And this is the reason why doing it in one market or no more than 3 makes a ton of sense, because great thing about our real estate world is people love to talk about what they're doing. People love to show you what they're up to. So, I mean, there's also a lot of people who are doing a lot of big things that don't say anything. But for the most part, these people are easy to find. They're in Facebook groups. They're in the meetups. They're you can go find these people, because they are looking for someone who can kind of help fill the gaps in their business, right? So based on this, I would go find a partner who has already bought small multifamily and understand their buy box. Now, look, you can build this out as you continue to go, but the reason why I can move forward very quickly in Atlanta, Georgia, if I get a creative finance property that's, anything less than, I would probably say 24 to 30 doors, and our cap rate is somewhere around 11%, that deal is worth gold. I know exactly what I'm looking for because I went and found someone who knew a heck of a lot more than I did, because they were much better at this game than I was. I got good at this game right here, right? There's someone out there who's better, and then I found someone who's better at this game than I was. And then I found someone who's better at this game than I was. Okay. So there's someone out there that this is their primary business model. That's all they do. They buy multifamily properties. They turn them. They manage them. They understand all the things. They've already made the mistakes. They've been the pioneer. They got the arrows in their back. They've already done the things. Okay, amazing. I'm going to go find those deals. What do you guys look for? Oh, Matt, well, cap rate is the most important. Like, we're looking for properties that are value add opportunities, right? So there's got to be an opportunity to raise rents. And you can force that either by maybe the properties have been under rented for a long time, or maybe the properties can be renovated and then rented out for more, like whatever, right? A lot of people are looking for value add opportunities because multifamily properties are valued like businesses, right? If we are able to show a track record of this property not being vacant and we have 90% occupancy over the last 12 months and the rents have been raised from $800 a month to $1,200 a month, well, now we have a property that is bringing in this much money per month, and this is our net number after 12 months. The income of the property, your cap rate, is based off your net operating income. So if a property brings in more money every single month and it nets us more money at the end of the year, that property is more valuable than what it was before. That's the value add, right? So if I understand that, I'm looking for properties that there is places to add the value, because that's where I break into this. And this is how I can actually be a limited partner or a general partner. I'm normally a limited partner because I'm not looking to manage or do anything else too crazy with these, but I understand exactly what these people are looking for. So I can go ask the right questions to my agents when I say, hey, bring me this type of deal. And if you bring me this type of deal, I know where the levers to pull to negotiate it. You guys see what I'm saying? Because I already have the people that I've talked to in mind. I know my partners on these deals. If I don't know my partner, I don't know if it's a deal. If I don't know my buyer for it, I don't know if it's a deal. Could it be a deal for someone? Sure. Could it also waste days of my life or a long time that's just totally unnecessary? Absolutely. So if you are finding land development deals and you don't have a land developer, stop. Don't do it. It's not going to bring you any money. It's it's literally, you may have a better chance of winning the lottery, or at least going to get a scratch off ticket and winning like $10,000 than trying to get this 200 acre piece of land that was sent to you from a friend of a friend of a friend that, could be a great development opportunity. It's probably not going to make you any money. Okay. So it's one of those things. I'm only partners on 4 different multifamily deals, Josh. I've wholesaled quite a few, but I'm only partners on 4. Okay. So it's one of those things where in different asset sizes and stuff, some big ones, but it's one of those things where I was like, and this is one of my focuses for this year. Like I prefer the small multifamily because I'm able to put the same energy and effort. Typically the buy price is like what a luxury property is. It's like 1.5 million, 2 million in some of these markets, maybe 2.5 million, but like they're not that much difficult to structure. I'm just looking at the net operating income and I'm trying to get them at 11% cap rate. And if I get it at that, sometimes I can throw $100,000 assignment fee on these deals because of that, right? So I have a deal finding business that can bring me in wholesale deals. I have deal finding business that can bring me buy and holds. I have a deal finding business that can bring me my fix and flips because I have fix and flip partners to say, hey Matt, I'll fund the deal. Let's run it. And I know exactly what kind of fix and flips I'm looking for. And I have the multifamily side of my business because I have partners who's going to help me do it. I can't do this on my own. And I just really implore you guys to realize, if you haven't already, you probably have, but real estate is a team sport. If you want to do a lot of things, if you want to do it slow, cool, go alone, right? Go do it. Like you'll get some traction. But whenever you want to start getting into new things, get some strategic partners. I'm not talking about 50-50 partners for life. Get partners on deals. You know exactly what they're looking for. And look, one of the biggest mistakes that I made when I first started sourcing deals for Pace, before we became partners, is there was about 42 sub-2 deals that I got from door knocking. And every single one of them, I took $2,500. And I made that money was crazy. It was the best money I've ever made. And it changed my life, right? But I realized that, dang, if I would have knew what I knew now, I would have gone back and said, hey, instead of giving me $2,500, give me like $1,500, but keep me on the deal. I would love to be an equity partner. I would love to stay in on this deal, even if it's just at a small scale, 20% of the property. I don't care. I want to see how you do this because those property appreciated. That little 40 package of properties that they bought with their lending partners appreciated like multi-million dollars in 2 years, right? So you learn, and that's the reason why these frameworks exist, is because I'm like, oh, that's what I should do. And that's how I can start getting a piece of this bigger pie. Instead of having the whole grape, give me the slice of the watermelon. That's the saying, right? So I find partners, and that's what you do. If you want to build a deal finding business, guys, this is not, when I talk about calling agents and negotiating deals and telling them what to ask for, I'm not talking about building a wholesaling business. I am talking about building a deal finding business like this. Does that make sense, you guys? You know exactly what kind of deals you want from wholesale, buy and hold, and multifamily by understanding who wants those types of deals. What are they looking for? And then you know exactly how to go find them. Okay. We understand their buy box, and that is how you build a deal finding business. Now, I have a ton of trainings on knowing if you have a good creative finance deal, how to structure a creative finance deal. I'm not going to go into crazy detail on that today. 5 to 7% is your entry fee. You want to make sure it cash flows as a long-term rental. You guys can go watch those trainings inside of school. There's a ton. You guys go to Masterclass Pass. You'll see them in there. There's a lot of underwriting videos. I even touched on it, I think last week when we were talking about building out a buyer's list, right? But understanding what a good wholesale deal is, that's a whole nother animal. Just depending on what market you guys are in, you understand, hey, this is what buyers are buying because I have real buyer connections. And if you want to make this process even faster, you get you a partner, you get you someone, you get you a relationship who's doing the things that you want to do. That's really the only reason why anyone ever pays me to be in my program. Because they're like, oh, Matt, I don't know these things. I know you know them, Matt. Great. I want to partner up with you on deals and I want you to show me. That's literally it. I don't sell a course. I give all this stuff away to you guys. I want everybody doing deals. I want everybody doing business in the group. So whatever I can do to help you guys in that journey, that's what this group's all about. Real estate, it could be like this big topic. It's like, where do I even start? This is where you start. You create a business that can bring you money in today, bring you money in tomorrow, and can bring you money years down the road. Whatever I can help you guys in with your real estate journey, you know how to find me. Go to the school group, send me a DM. I'm always happy to help. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. I'm super pumped that you're in our No Fluff community. Thank y'all for hanging out with me. I appreciate you guys hanging in there. Hopefully this was valuable. But you guys have been amazing. I hope y'all have a great Sunday. I appreciate you guys. Y'all have a great night, okay? Talk soon.